Hey, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So I have a friend who watches my videos, and sometimes I ask them about, you know, what do you think? Or they talk to me. They come and say, oh, I watched a video about this, that, and the other day. Um, anyway, they said to me, when I start talking about energy and energetical stuff, that they just kind of switch off. And I think, look, that's fine because everybody believes whatever they believe, right? Get out of it whatever you do, or don't get anything out of it, whatever. I don't really care, right? I care a little bit, right? But I have to remember I don't really care. It's not for me to dictate the benefits of, or if any, right, of me sitting here in my car talking away to my phone. Um. Anyway, I met this woman the other day, and she said something to me. Oh, it's 12:21 on the 22nd of the 12th. I met this woman the other day, and she said something to me that I thought might be a really good practical representation of what it means that I'm talking about when I'm talking about energy. So she said to me, do you know something that I really like to do? I really like to go and buy a lottery ticket, just a lucky dip lottery ticket, and then leave it in my purse and don't check it. I was like, okay, sounds a little mental. Tell me more. I'm intrigued. Um, and she said to me that the reason why she does this is because lottery tickets last for 6 months, and you have 6 months to be able to claim any winnings. Weird to say. That was hard to say for some reason. Any winnings that you have, you can claim up to 6 months later, and that could be anywhere from £1 to millions of pounds. She said to me that she just likes the feeling that she could possibly be a millionaire. For those whole 6 months until she checks her lottery ticket, she is basically living in the mindset that I could be a millionaire. Like, who knows? Or even I could have like an extra 15 quid or an extra grand, like just sitting right there in my purse. Imagine that. Imagine that. And it reminded me of this episode of what was that show called? Modern Family, where the dad, Phil, and his son, whose name I can't remember right now, um, they found some treasure, some box or something, and they spent the whole episode saying, "Oh, maybe it's this, maybe it could be this. Oh my God, what if it's this? Oh, what if it's this?" Like, and they were just living in this like really beautiful space of possibility, right, and opportunity and optimism. And at the end of the episode, it was kind of like, well, maybe it was better if we just don't know what's in there because that's more fun, right? When I talk about energy, I think that the whole lottery ticket thing is a really, really good example of what I mean. If so, we as human beings, right? Our ego and our brain, our frontal lobe, it doesn't like to live in the unknown. It doesn't like to be unsure about what's coming next because really what it's there for is it's there to mitigate risk. It's there to manage hazards, right? So that goes back to like caveman days when we really actually did have a lot of threats coming in around us, right? There were like crazy animals with massive fucking teeth, and there was no food. We had to go and source it all ourselves. There were poisonous berries. There were, avalanches and landslides and the freezing cold. There was a lot going on, right? So our brain, and the reason why we as Homo sapiens evolved beyond the other human type species that were there was because we had thinking power, right? We were able to assess risk, and we were able to adapt to risk. And it's a really, really helpful thing, definitely, right? And the way that our brain and our body processes information when we perceive there to be a risk there is really helpful. Our adrenaline goes up, our cortisol goes up, it all spikes. Our body shuts down all of the blood that's going to our extremities. It focuses very much on keeping our heart going, keeping our main organs going, so that we can use any of that excess energy to be able to run, to be able to fight, to be able to hide, whatever it is that we need to do in that moment in time. However, I think the issue is that now in today's society, because the threats around us are more subtle, they're more nuanced, they're more like perceived threats. So it's more like, I feel the threat of my mother-in-law saying something passive aggressive to me over the dinner table today, so I'm going to feel highly anxious and highly aroused for the 5 hours before we have dinner, for the entire time that I'm there, and then when I get home. The problem is that there isn't really actually anything to face, so all of that build up of adrenaline and cortisol doesn't really go anywhere. That's not really the point of what I'm trying to say. I think the point of what I'm trying to say is that most of the time, because of this kind of innate survival instinct that we have, our mind, our brain is often scanning for threats, for hazards, right? So this is the reason why our brain doesn't really like to live in the unknown. It doesn't really like to live in the possibility of anything. It wants to know what is going to happen so that it can mitigate those risks. Problem with that, though, is that of all the things, of all the possibilities, of all the myriad possibilities and combinations and variables of possibilities of what could happen next, yeah, the thing that we think is going to happen is like a gazillion to one chance, yeah, that we are actually going to be able to predict what happens next. So what do? We take the safest possible prediction, or we take the most catastrophic possible prediction. So either we are preparing for some imminent risk, yeah, or we are choosing that not everything's going to be okay, but we're choosing how to make ourselves safe, right? Because that's really what we want. We just want to feel safe. In doing that, what it does is it eliminates every other possible scenario that could happen, and we begin to prepare ourselves for the thing that we think is going to happen. And as we begin to prepare ourselves for the thing that we think is going to happen, ultimately what we do is we tell ourselves that that is what's going to happen. And then ultimately we make choices and we take steps and we start navigating ourselves towards that outcome, because we keep on thinking about it. We keep thinking about that being a possibility and needing to prepare ourselves for that possibility. So what do? We prepare ourselves for that possibility, ergo making that a self-fulfilling prophecy. What I think is so beautiful about buying a lottery ticket and not checking it and just living in this potential is that it gives our brain something tangible to hold on to, because it doesn't want to be in the unknown. And what I would say about the unknown is that, in my opinion, this is the space from where everything is created, right? So even the thought process that, this is going to happen and I need to be prepared for this, that still comes out of the unknown. It still comes out of our imagination, but it's just the type of thing that we're imagining is more structured and more risk averse than, well, anything could happen. Our brain doesn't like that, right? But it's still coming from the same place. It's still coming from the unknown. So as much as you can imagine that, okay, I'm going to walk down the street and, I'm going to pass some houses as I get to the train station, it's more likely that that's going to happen than I'm going to float up into the sky and, or, I'm going to see a dog riding a chicken running down the road. The thing is that it is still possible that you could see a dog riding a chicken rather than just saying, so, well, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to walk down the same street. I'm going to see the same houses. I might see the same neighbors. And the thing is that if you train your brain to look for the dog riding the chicken, actually what you're doing is you're widening the gate with which information can come in, because you're not already predicting what's going to happen. Now, you may not see a dog riding a chicken, but you may see some other shit that you hadn't seen before that may cause you to think of something differently, to look at something differently, to stop for 30 seconds and maybe miss that train and then maybe meet someone at the train station and talk to that person. That creates an opportunity. You never know what's going to happen, but the minute that you're just like, no, I know what life is going to be, or I know how to mitigate the risks that I believe that are going to happen, and I know what hazards are coming up, and I know what threats are around me, so I need to live my life in this way, is the minute that you shut down all possibility. You shut down all possibility of the unknown coming to you. And the reason why I think that the lottery ticket is a really good thing is because rather than having to retrain your brain to believe that anything's a possibility, right? And opening up that wider scope, which really is, I think, something that everybody should try to begin to do. And maybe this is the first step, because with the lottery ticket, there still really is only fundamentally two things that can happen. So your brain still has that, that quantifiable outcome of it not just being like, fucking anything could happen. And it's like, no, I can't, I can't manage that. I can't prepare for anything. I can't mitigate the risk of absolutely anything. But with that also, like I say, it mitigates the possibility of amazing things happening, right? So with the lottery ticket, there's only two options. There's either you're not going to get any money or you're going to get some money, right? But the possibility that you might get some money creates a more elevated energy around you, this like greater level of optimism, this ability to live in the unknown, yeah, and to use your imagination for more than just the mitigation of risk, Man, what if there was like 50 quid on there? Oh, that'd be so good. I could maybe cash it in just before Christmas and buy some drinks for everybody, or like, what if there was like £1,000 on there? Man, I could get my car fixed, or I could buy those shoes that I really wanted. Like, and your brain suddenly starts switching into this different gear of possibility of things that possibly could happen. Think about how much lighter that feels, even just saying it out loud. Like, wow, wouldn't that be amazing? And yes, there is still the possibility that you're going to get fuck all, right? That's always there. But you're not living in that possibility. You're not predicting your life based on that possibility. And now all of a sudden, you're looking for opportunities. Your body is vibrating at a different frequency where there is this like, anything could happen, right? I could win the lottery. There could be all this money on this ticket just waiting there for me, man. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? And I think it puts you back into this like childlike wonder of like, wow, isn't life fun? Isn't life cool? Anything could happen. It's not the same old that it is, that I think it is, that it's been for all of this time. I'm not living my future. I'm not basing my future on everything that I know of my past. I'm basing my future on possibility and opportunity and optimism. And I think it's just such a beautiful thing. And I think we just need more of it, right? So I would, and let's just be clear, I'm not a champion for the National Lottery. I do not get any commission from anybody buying any lottery tickets, but man, try it and see. Get yourself a lucky dip and stick it in your purse and think about it every so often. and see if it elevates you a little bit. Yeah, I think that's it. Something I'm grateful for. What can I say? I'm really grateful to this person that said this thing to me as like a throwaway comment. Like, it just epitomizes for me the different um the different way that we can perceive the world and how energy works. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Okay, that's it.